You are listening to CrossTalk, a safe place to discuss addiction, recovery, harm reduction, and everything in between. Support for this podcast comes from the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort and Advocates of Recovery. Content and production by the team at Turning Point Recovery Community Center. Now, buckle up and get ready for the show.
Welcome everyone to CrossTalk Recovery, the recovery podcast that supports all forms of recovery. I'm Matt Lewis, and I'm here with
Sam Peterson,
JT Davenport,
and Dillon Bates.
All right.
Welcome you all. Dylan, glad to finally have you on.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked about it for a little while. Dylan, he is the head peer mentor. What's the actual title?
Peer mentor supervisor.
Peer mentor supervisor at Centerpoint.
Yeah.
Which is awesome that you're that, because you came through the program behind Sam and I, and stayed, peer mentored, worked there, took over the job once Alan stepped down, and I just think it's such a great story, and you've been doing such a good job. Like you came in, I feel like you came in with like that fresh blood, ready to, really help the guys,
right?
And so. Like I said, we've been talking about getting you on for a while, and so I'm glad you're finally here, man.
No, man, like I said, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, man. This was I remember, I don't know if I was doing the peer mentor supervisor thing yet or not when this first came about, and I remember it must have been when I was still in the program, and coming to YPR one night, and you were handing out these ballots of what it should be called, and I think there was, I don't know how many, I just remember On the Wagon was one of them. I'm like, that's it.
That was the one I wanted.
That's it right there. But I think we landed on CrossTalk. So, it is what it is.
It works. It's still kind of catchy because of meetings and CrossTalk and all that stuff.
Right.
But I was definitely pulling for On the Wagon.
I know you were.
It was my idea. So.
There you go. Stand behind it. There you go.
I remember some of the names when we checked them, like there were already a lot of podcasts with that name, things of that nature.
It's hard. It's hard to start a unique idea of recovery podcast. But we've had fun with it, man, and we're doing it over a couple of years now. And I've been trying to get you on since you took over that role, and glad we finally did it, man. So we wanted to have you on just to kind of talk about your story, because it's so cool where you've landed, where you are right now. But I know you are, like the rest of us, haven't always been an upstanding citizen.
No, I got into it because I was an upstanding citizen. No, far from it. I'm not going to get too far in the madness and stuff, but I remember getting to Centerpoint off the heels, I think, you being a peer mentor. I remember sitting in the smoke yard and being like, I wonder who drives that red Camaro out there. I'm going to steal it. And then it was you. And he looks terrifying, so I'm not going to steal it. And I remember and I caught a resentment early on before I knew what it was, because you were the housekeeping peer mentor. And I'd made it all the way to like late MT2 without getting really any issues or words. And my roommate came down one day and was like, Matt Lewis gave us 2,500 words because there was dust behind the refrigerator. I was like, man, that's crazy. I don't even know this guy, and he's telling me things are dirty.
It probably wasn't even me, because it was whoever was the
housekeeping supervisor
was the guy who usually did it, and I just signed off on it.
Look at a way for him to pass the buck over there. He should have been a politician. It wasn't really me. It was really just the program and the way it was working.
I hated that job because that's one of the rare positions where it rolls uphill.
Right. Yeah. That's just part of it, but no, man. And I didn't even get to Centerpoint with the idea of this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I was one of the very many that are sitting in a jail cell and hear about a place that might get me out of some trouble. So I get there and I make it like a month or so, and then you were around. I think you might have still been there. Of course, you've heard the story. That old stimulus check hit, and Little John takes me to Walmart to cash it.
It's an epic story,
Right. Yeah. So I'm not going to give you all a chance to ask. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there right now.
Smart.
So Little John takes me and I cash it, and I'm gone for 10 days and finally make it back. But those 10 days I was on my own.
How did I see you?
That's what I thought was the funniest part about it. Is like he's going on the run. He's like, you can't miss him.
I love Little John, so this isn't a jab at him. But so in that situation, the crazy thoughts I was having was not that I'm about to cash this check and disappear to this hotel across from Walmart. Is that when we got out of the car, Little John was like, I'm going to go get a hunting and fishing license. And I was like, why is he getting a hunting and fishing license? But okay, that's what I was thinking. And I booked it. He never was, wasn't on him. I took off. In one door and out the other. So I'm gone for 10 days. And then that 10 days in that hotel room by myself, because, for me and for probably Sam and a few others that have done this before and went back down, it's not a steady decline back into the madness.
No.
It's here to here in a day. So I did that, and the money finally runs out. And this last ditch effort's like, I remember hearing about this place called the Crisis Unit, Lourdes. Maybe if I go there, I can get back in. Of course, I'm there for 2 or 3 days, and finally get hold of Max, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll let you come back." Jamie Cox come and picks me up. Then I started really taking hold of it. Still had the trouble over my head. Massac County did issue a warrant when I walked off, but Shannon's like, they're not going to recall the warrant, but they're not going to come get you. So I'm doing good. And like today, Center Point was having a car wash.
Oh yeah.
So where they have let me give it a little backstory. So where they have the car wash at is one of the busiest streets in Paducah, and it's like everybody drives through there. Like it links one end of town with the other, right. And the guy with the warrant is standing out in the middle of the road with a sign that says "free car wash." It happens to be 6'10".
Yeah, sounds a Sasquatch.
Sasquatch wearing a pink shirt. So I'm out there flipping signs like I'm Mr. Cool and I'm hot stuff, man. And we're there. Here's what gets me: we're there all day, and then right at 4 o'clock when we're loading up is when 3 of the biggest McCracken County cops I've ever seen show up.
They were some big fellas.
Yeah, and we're all standing.
They had to
there.
go round up the big ones together. Like, we gotta go get.
So we're all standing there in the little huddle. We're eating ice cream. Some lady donated from Dairy Queen, and the cops pull up. And Rocky's doing still working their time. He's kind of heading it up, and we're all like, "Oh, they got gloves on. Somebody's going to jail. Oh, it's going to jail." And it's not going to be me. It's not me. And Rocky walks up and goes, "Dillon, hate to do this, but you have an outstanding warrant out of Massac County. These men are here to take you with them." Damn. Okay. So then finish my ice cream, smoke a cigarette. And they walk up, or I walk up to them. We kind of meet right there in front of the auto parts store, and they're like, "We're not going to have any problems with you, are you?" And I was like, "No, trust me, we're good." So, at Wreckages in my past, I pay for that. And, like, the last thing I remember hear Rocky say is, like, "It's going to be a while because it's July 4th. It's 2 years ago this weekend, I think. Right now, we're almost at 2 years this happened. Rocky's like, "It's the July 4th weekend, and Thelma's out of the office, and Shannon's going to be gone. Good luck." So that's all I'm thinking. I've seen this place work wonders. Like, I'll be out soon. And I spend 4 or 5 days in McCracken, finally get extradited back to Massac. And, the first thing I do when I get there is like, I need to use the phone to call Center Point and just save my ass, of course, and this and that. And I call and Boone's still working the front office. And say, "Hey, this is Dillon. I'm back in Massac. Connect me to Shannon if you don't mind." And Shannon picks up the phone. I tell him where he's like, "Quit calling Bates. You don't think I haven't been talking to him?" And click, hung up on me. At that time, I wasn't as panicked. But, that's when you do the right thing, you got people behind you willing to go back for you. And Shannon Newcomb's one of them, of course, and Center Point in general. They had it set up. I didn't have to go in back in front of a judge. I didn't even make it back to population when I got to Massac. They're like, long as somebody from Center Point comes and picks you up, we're going to let you back out on your own recognizance again, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And it all started with Little John at Walmart, and it all ended with Little John coming to pick me up at the jail. I've never been so happy to see Little John in my life.
Yeah.
So, you get back, and I go through the program. And, I'd seen what peer mentors were. It's like, I don't know if it's about, I've spent most of my adult life working at bars, working in farms, and then being an all-around tyrant, taking from the stream of life instead of giving to it. I don't know how to give. Mm-hmm. So, and we've all four of us went through this. I get to that 10-step, and I start 10-stepping these SOS clients and giving back and teaching a little bit. I'm like, maybe I can do this. So, I do that, and I finally make I'm kind of on the fence about being a peer mentor. I don't know yet if I still want to do that, but I don't know where else I'm going to go or what I'm going to do after this. So he's a good buddy of mine now, but at the time he was a kitchen facilities manager, Luke Odom. Mm-hmm. I got real close with him, and I was in his office getting his signature for the thing. I said, "I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'm going to do this." He said, "Just relax. You're overthinking it. Just apply for it. Do the interview and teach the class, and if you get it, it was meant to be. If not, God's got other plans for you." Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the message I spread when I'm talking to guys and signing their paper. Like, I don't know, just go for it. If you don't get it, then don't catch a resentment or be downhearted about it. It just meant there's something else to be.
That's what I always tell anyone who's thinking about it too. It's about the willingness to do it, you know?
Right.
More than it is getting the job. It's like that you're willing to try and help you, that you're willing to do something different. And then not setting expectations on it and realizing if you don't get it, you just have to adjust. You know, you probably didn't want to do it anyway. So.
I didn't want to do it when I signed up for it.
Yeah, me either.
But I mean, I signed up for it, so I'd take a chance, and what do you know? They picked me.
You got a point. If it's something you don't want to do, it's probably something
you should.
You should do. Like I don't want to go to a meeting means you should probably get off your butt and go to a meeting.
That's what Blaine told me, my sponsor.
Right.
He told me, so you need to go ahead and try it, and if you get it, then I mean it's probably something you don't want to do. So you're going to grow doing something you don't want to do. You know, I hate teaching class. You know that.
Well, you just weren't good at it. But that's all right, buddy.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you know, truth hurts, JT.
It don't hurt till it's true. It's true.
We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, did you know it's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely? Here at Turning Point, we don't want you to ever be lonely either. That's why we are open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Always feel free to come hang with our friendly staff, and don't forget your guinea pig. We're located at 415 Broadway Street, downtown Paducah.
Hello, everybody. You want to know something? My biggest issue with meetings is, despite their name, they are never about me. Here at Turning Point, all of our meetings are for you and about you. We have meetings at least 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We are located at 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky. Call 270-444-3621 for more information.
JT's fine at class.
I've never seen one of JT's
It's
classes,
not as
but
good as
now
mine.
I really want to.
It's not as good as mine. But
Open your books to page 72.
They wouldn't like it, the class over where I taught, because even as a recovery dynamics, we're going through the book, and they all want to talk about everything. I'm like, no, we're going to go what the book says first, and then we'll talk about the stuff. And they was all we got to read the book. Well, yeah, that's what you're doing in rehab. Actually. Oh, you're in rehab. We're supposed to go through the book to learn.
Look how agitated he's getting right now. He's getting angry.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
He's turning red.
I got to talk big. I got somebody huge beside me. I got to act like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, we can sit here and pick on anybody, but, you know, if like I said, the peer mentored, and I did it for 15 months. I didn't leave the building. I had a very respectful gentleman that I owe a lot to today, telling me, I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he just said, sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
He said it a lot meaner than that. It made more sense. And I did that for 15 months, and then all these things happened. You know, he stepped down. I got probation. He stepped down. They made me acting peer mentor supervisor. I went to court and got probation and applied and got the job all in a week. And as much as I can sit here and pick on him and a few others out in their office, I won't shout their names out, but they put me in that position, even though I knew a little bit. So here you go. Here's your keys, your laptop. This is your domain now. You figure it out. Sweet. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
You know, at first I knew how to help people get sober and this and that, but like I'm not good with sending emails and this and that. I finally learned how to do that, but I really relied on people like JT and a few of the other peer mentors I was actually in the office with to be like, hey, look, I don't know what's going on. I got to go down 4 Rivers and be down there for 2 days and this and that. Like, good luck. I trust you guys to do it, you know.
Yeah, and you know, that's the beauty of when you have a real tight office in Center Point. You know, I mean, there's you're the supervisor. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. You know, it fluctuates just like the guys in the building. But like when you get really close to some guys in there, like if you're a peer mentor, like they always say, well, you come by yourself, you're leaving by yourself. That's not necessarily always true.
I never agreed with that.
You know, because I'm still with a couple of on a few guys that I'm still friends with till this day.
Me and him. You know what I mean? We peer mentored together, and then he became my boss. We're still like best friends, something like that.
Yeah. It is what it is. Don't tell anybody that.
It's like I'm looking at the what is that where the guy has the mini me?
Austin Powers.
Yeah, that's right over there.
I mean, I'm pretty nice.
Well, isn't that the cliche? There's always the big guy with the small guy in all comedy routines and the cartoons. You know,
it's life. That's how it is.
You should have seen little John walking beside him. Talking about me little. He's this tall and he's.
But you're not only little, but you're also little.
Like a wiry frame, you know. Yeah.
But that is one of the reasons I wanted JT to be on today. For one, because if you're watching this, you can see this how hilarious this is. But
Yeah.
two, because you work together. Like Sam and I peer mentored together under Alan, and well, we didn't work with you, peer mentor with you, or under you, but JT did. So we
done more than work together. When my sister passed away and my brother passed away, I was there. He went with me to the funeral and everything. Like he was a boss, but also one of my best friends.
Right.
That's awesome.
And I respect him a lot for that. I was going through a hard time.
It's not that's just part of it. I don't boss, best friends. What you're just supposed to be there for somebody, regardless of what they're going through. One of my peer mentors got had his graduation ceremony last night for his GED, and I made it a point to be there. Anytime they're going through something, I have to be there. I've learned being the peer mentor supervisor and having an office of I think like 11 or 12 guys right now. And just to give them a shout out because they're doing a great job. There's days I can just fall back and they're like, "What was she doing?" I'm like, "You just need to figure it out." This office is really tight right now, but that's what I tell them. I said, you get to be peer mentors, and don't get me wrong, you still got your buddies in the program, but these guys right here, you're going to be in here for the next 3, 6, 7 months, or however long you're in here. This is what you got.
Yep.
In this building, this is what you got. They go to meetings together, go out and eat lunch. That's what we used to do. Get a bind, because when you get in situations you don't know what's going on, or you're just having a bad day or something, like, don't get me wrong, you got sponsors and you got meetings and you can higher power and prayer and meditation, but like somebody that sits next to you every day 5 days a week is going to be able to notice what you're going through and help you get through something. And I'm grateful for that. And it's not just and like he said, it's not just a boss and peer mentor situation. Like, these guys in that office are my friends too, and there's times I'm like, "Hey, am I making the right call on this?" I'm not perfect, and just because I hold this title doesn't mean I can make all these decisions. It doesn't work like that. Richard says it all the time. He does graduations. And I'm not taking away from anybody else, because Shannon does a lot, Bax does a lot, Richard does a lot, but like, they're there to kind of like make sure the outside's kind of working this and that. But these peer mentors, without them, classes don't get taught, clients don't get seen, over the kitchen, over maintenance, over laundry. It's its own little community within a community.
Well, Matt said it before. Like, when he first started, when he got to Center Point, I had just become a peer mentor. Like, I was fresh,
Right.
Yeah.
He had no idea. He thought I worked there. I
didn't know how it was my first rehab. I didn't know how it worked. Yeah. I didn't know that he was sick.
Still sick.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
And once you learn that, and these guys have just recently come through the program, and they're giving back, and they're not making much either,
Right.
And just how that program works, it's peer driven in that sense, and it works for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
It does.
You get that's the greatest thing about being at Centerpoint, and you've peer mentored, and you've all seen it. The first month or so, there's no lights coming on. I don't know what I want. I don't know what's going on. Screw you. I'm not writing these words to a few months in, and one day just seeing these guys in class that don't know what's going on, I figured it out. I haven't figured it out, but now I know what's going on. To see these lights come on, it's just, some people are like, you're doing the same thing every day, the same classes, seeing basically the same types of people. The faces change, the problems don't. But I said, yes, they kind of do, because what gets me is seeing lights come on in these people, and staying sober. I don't make Centerpoint my recovery. I can't do that. But still, I add it to my recovery. I don't make it my recovery.
Right.
I go to Brown Street at 10 o'clock, and there's a lot of sobriety there and a lot of years. I go to Midtown sometimes, but that's where I go to hear what I need to hear to help me get through my next upcoming adventures in recovery. But what I sometimes forget, and I think a lot of alcoholics and addicts do, is the small things. Like, I go to the in-house meetings where it's just these MT1s, MT2s that have been there for a few weeks, and they're like, I'm grateful to be wearing my own shoes and a porcelain toilet. And I'm like, that's what I need to hear also. Because I can wake up and forget to be grateful for laces in my shoes and shoes that I can wear and things like that. So I'm happy to do both of it, man, and keep it all there.
I talked to a guy today, and he's taking on his first sponsee at Centerpoint.
Yes, yeah.
And he's not a Centerpoint graduate, but still, and when this guy he come through our program, and he did not want to be a part of it, did not, but he's a drug court guy, and he's talking, he's like, I don't know, man, that guy's going to be a lot of work. I said, how much work were you? He's like, more than he is. I was like, that's the way it is.
Trust me.
It just takes us back, when you're working with a brand new person in recovery. It's just, if you've been without a substance for a while, you're like, well, think about where you were at when you got there. Even this second time when I came through Center Point, I did not want to be there.
Me neither.
No.
Me neither. Second.
At all.
Well, that's the whole thing with the open-mindedness and willingness. We can learn from the new guy just as much as we can. The old-timer, it's the message, not the messenger. All those things hold true, and you got to remember those things because you start to get cocky in this program, and, you're going to get humbled again because we've seen it many times. It's when you keep that attitude of being willing to learn and be compassionate towards your brothers and do things like go to their graduation, go to their funeral, and like staying involved. And remember that these are for friends, they're your brothers, they're people that you want to see succeed. Like
it's
being
fellowship.
Someone's friend, is
That's
different now than it ever was in the madness. I didn't care about half those people really, the way that I care about Sam today. And so it's like, it's a beautiful thing when you see it done right,
Right. Yeah, like my friends today, like if they're going through something and they're struggling and having pain, I'm going to feel that, with them, and that's not the way it was out there in the madness. Oh, you're going through that?
Well, hang out with somebody else for a little while. Yeah. You're bringing me down,
you
buddy.
figure that out.
Yeah, you need to figure that out. I'll see you when you do.
Yeah,
buzzkill.
But that's the great thing about getting sober, man. We spent, like I think I said at the beginning of this, like we spent so long taking away from the stream of life and other people to finally give back and not expect anything in return. Don't get me wrong, I love Center Point, I love working there, and at the end of the day, I'm just like, because I've given so much and taken so much in, but I go home and I go to bed and I wake up the next morning ready to go back at it.
Yeah.
I've been in that building since 2021, somewhere in there. A peer mentor. I was in the program 7 months, a peer mentor for 15 months, and then got this job and have not taken any more than 2 or 3 days off. I don't mind to go back. It can weigh on you, but that's in any recovery field or any situation you work in,
And just like anything else, it's important to take care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't give what you're not having, right?
Right.
So, if you gotta make sure your side of the street is good, and then a lot of time that's making sure I took a little time off.
All right, don't worry, I got a vacation coming.
Good. I mean, I always tell everybody practice self-care, and then I'm pretty horrible at it, but.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah. We could all be better at it.
Yeah.
But like Dillon is one of those guys though that he still goes up there in the evenings, hangs out.
I know. Every time I come in there on a Sunday
the
to see some guys or something, he's usually sitting there on the couch.
We bring some puppies up sometimes out there outside, and just it's. I love being at home and stuff, but I could be having a bad day or a bad night, still want to go up there, and it's not one of those situations where I go up there and talk about it. It's just. I get outside of myself. That's what I'm looking for. Like what I'm going through after I get up there and start talking to guys, realize it's not that big a deal.
I don't go up there as much as I used to, but I loved going up there when it was still COVID parameters and everybody was there.
Right. Yeah.
Now on the weekends it's a little sparse at times,
Yeah. They should bring back Mingle Mondays. I mean, whoever's watching this,
the old Mingle Monday.
Clients don't want to hear that. But
no, that's what I was gonna say. Don't let them hear you say that.
It was more of a miserable Monday.
Was it?
I
though?
never got to experience it.
I got there for most of the COVID lockdown. I know you were there for all of it, and so were you. And like, that's when I come through the COVID lockdown, it was like the status you held as far as empty one, empty to her face. Just at that point, it was just like, whatever.
It's all the same.
Man, we're just all here trying to get sober, and it's still like that now. But man, it's just. I think that's why I got tighter bonds with some people I went through with, just because I had to see them every day, 24/7.
Matt lived 2 rooms down from me, and
I like that. Like because I went through it that way and experienced that way, I found it beneficial that way. I can see the benefits of it both ways, of being able to get out in the community and develop and make a recovery network and support system, for when you get out. But I enjoyed the fact that we were in there and we were able to form those close bonds and there was no distractions. Like talk about keep your head in the building.
It was in the building.
We had lived in the building.
It has nowhere else to go at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like the outside world was just unknown and unusual by the time. But like I remember when I became a peer mentor and I was able to leave and actually go somewhere besides Turning Point for 4 hours on a Sunday. I was just, it's been a while, and it was weird because,
Is the outside world still there? Who's president? What year is it? Things like that.
Like it did 7.5 months, in there because, like we were talking about earlier, Alan kind of slow rolled me a little bit. And it was weird. I do remember that. It was weird being out in the world
We
again.
went on lockdown for about a month there, COVID lockdown, and man, it was weird.
Anarchy.
It was getting
Yeah.
rough in there. But like we all was used to going out, and then out of nowhere they locked us down for a whole month, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
It might have been miserable. It's that whole nothing that happened in God's world by mistake. Like we didn't come through with it being open for a reason. And me being in there and getting the bonds I have and spending enough time in that building probably prepared me for where I'm at today.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Which
Maybe-
we definitely got closer to people when we was locked down in there for a month.
that's true.
It helped me remove some people from my life that didn't need to be in it.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's maybe I had plans on going to see somebody, but now you know.
It gives you the
I
chance
can't.
to work on your acceptance, which is part of the program. You know, it was for me. You know, I had gone to high school in Paducah. I knew a lot of people in Paducah. I feel like that freedom might have been not good for me because I wasn't ready when I was first there. Like maybe with distractions outside the building, I wouldn't have made it. You know, and I really believe that. So the fact that I was forced to be in there and focus is probably what saved my life and kept me till a point, like you said, where the light bulb came on, where something just clicked. And I was like, oh, I do understand this. I do want to do this. And now I know what I have to do. And beautiful thing. We'll be right back.
Did you know that recovery from substance use disorder and mental health go hand in hand? That is why the caring and compassionate mental health professionals at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in Paducah are here to help you find your balance. They are proud of you for making the changes necessary to live a healthier life and would love to see you reach your full potential. Give them a call at 270-442-7121 or stop by the downtown location at 425 Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky.
As a woman in recovery, I know how important having a fellowship of women has been for me. Come join us at the Women of Worth All Recovery Support Group here at Turning Point, 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky, every Friday night at 6 p.m., where we discuss our personal experiences in recovery. Hope to see you there.
I did want to ask you, and I've probably asked you before and just forgotten, but where did the nickname Pop-Tart come from?
Yeah, I've been wondering that myself.
You know, I want to sit here and give this long, elaborate story and it be hilarious and great. And it's not going to be. It's just really not. It's just something stuck. So I played football from Massac County over in Illinois, and I played all my life. And I get into high school, and we're doing these 2-day practices, lift in the morning, practice in the afternoon. So, you know, we had to get to really early, and there's kids that didn't get deep breakfast, and guys didn't get time to stop and eat anything or something like that. So the coaches would buy, like, honey buns and Pop-Tarts and whatnot. So, of course, me, I like to indulge in food, if you can't tell. So I'd get there and, like, hide all the Pop-Tarts in my locker. And somebody called me that one day when I was 15 years old in high school, and it stuck. And I get to Center Point, and I wasn't one who was like, hey, call me this because it's so cool, bro. It's like Jonathan Bundy was one of the first caseworkers I met. And he comes up the quarantine room, knocks on the door, and I said, we're just talking. And all I said was, yeah, back home they call me Pop-Tart. He's like, oh, okay. Bye. So I finally get out of quarantine. It's my first head count. And he's like, we'd like to welcome a new guy. He likes to be called Pop-Tart. And it just like, it stuck. And, you know, one of the big rules there is we don't do nicknames. And no one ever got on to anybody for ever saying that.
Well, it's good. Pop-Tart's not that.
It's not a bad one.
It's like a street cred name at all.
Right,
you know, so, and this goes on for however long I'm there. And then I'm a peer mentor, and somebody's talking to Alan about me, one of the clients. I don't know if they were upset about something I did or whatever. Or I'd said something in class, and I don't know what it was. He's like, yeah, Pop-Tart now. I was like, who the hell's that? You know, he's the big guy, you know. And then they're like, you can't call you that no more. I'm like, I don't ask him to, you know. And we got people that work there now that have nicknames, and I had tried to catch myself, but it's not an elaborate story. The only thing funny that can really go along with the name Pop-Tart is, like, in high school, my buddies would be like, hey, my buddy Pop-Tart's going to come pick me up, telling their parents about me. And you're not expecting somebody that's almost 7 foot tall, 400 pounds, named Pop-Tart to come rolling in your door to pick up your son to go to Sonic.
Well, that's why I thought it was such a funny nickname because, you know, the big guys are called little and, you know, there's always like some sarcasm behind it. But then to have you, someone as big as you, just Pop-Tart. Like, yeah, I knew that there was an interesting story there. And another interesting thing that I discovered about you was the first time that you sang karaoke.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's I've always been a fan of music and a music enthusiast, and then, like I said, I used to work in bars and stuff, and I got into karaoke and everything, and it was a passion of mine. So I kept going, and then of course when the opportunity arose when we were on lockdown, had karaoke or the first alumni picnic, like, anybody want to do karaoke? I'm like, oh yeah, right here, I want to show off something right here, So it's how it went.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, he's a big guy named Pop-Tart and he can sing. It's so weird,
Yeah,
it's
you
a
wouldn't
phenomenon.
expect it when he starts belting out this voice of an angel coming out.
Well, I think what we could do is, because I couldn't afford to get you voice lessons, is maybe you can just go to Pop Tarts and do karaoke with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Dylan, give me some voice lessons. Yeah, sure, man.
I don't know why Sam said to do this. It's a horrible idea. But yeah, it's just, you never know. That's the great thing, even being at Center Point. You never know who's going to be able to do what. You get these guys that come in off the street, turn out to be amazing musicians or artists and things like that. Like all these great talents we have been covered up by years of drug use and pushing emotions down,
Yeah, so true, man. So many talented people in recovery. And it's a beautiful thing to see them, start to utilize that when they get sober. And
mine just happens to be, everybody says I'm really full of stuff,
I don't know what
my amazing talent is. I'm full of.
I don't know what mine is. I ain't figured it out.
You're good at it.
Well, you've got a pot of Lucky Charms somewhere. That's what yours is.
You just jealous because my beard's better than yours.
You do complain with the best of them. I mean,
There you go. I like that. That's a good one right there. Complain with the best of it.
Well, I was going to say, but your beard is still longer, but I'm going to have to go with Dylan is better taken care of.
for sure.
That's because his wife takes care of it.
It doesn't matter.
Well, she did teach me how to do my hair, but we're not going to go into that.
Well, did you meet your wife in recovery?
That's kind of a long story. I've known her for years. While I was in the madness, she lived in Michigan. We got to talking, and we didn't talk for a while, and I went to jail. I get to recovery. I never did call her for payphone. I didn't know what was going on. I graduate and get a phone back, and I look her up, and she's on Facebook, and she's with some guy in South Carolina or whatever. So I'm like, because that's my true love. I've loved her since I really started talking to her all these years ago. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm not even going to message her. And she's sending me, because she's big into dogs and has the Queen Bee thing. So she's sending me links and inviting me all these pages. I'm like, I'm not doing it. She's like, you should message me sometime, and I do. And she'd FaceTime me. She's like, well, I got to go and click. So I just block her. So I go through all this. I go through all that, block her. I don't have no contact with her. I'm doing good. I'm not talking to nobody. And then towards the end of my peer mentor, she messaged me on Instagram, which was randomly on my phone. So we started talking through that, man. And that's, if I wouldn't have went through what I did and where I was at today, it wouldn't work out the way it has,
Right.
So, yeah, we got together, peer mentored while I was with her, got married at Center Point in the conference room by Rocky Doom. So, I don't know how happy she was about that, and I don't know if I was excited about just getting married in general, but, all my life and everything I've got today revolves around being sober and recovery, I'm fortunate to have a spouse that is just as interested and concerned about my recovery as I am. She comes to Center Point with me.
Yeah.
She's not afraid sometimes to be like, hey, you should quit doing that, pulling up on you. She's like learning what that is. I've taught her what accountability is, so now that it works at my house.
Right.
You need to go to a meeting and hold yourself accountable. I'm like, that's exactly how it works. I shouldn't have told you that. So, yeah, it's some promises they talk about. It's not just the financial thing, the relationships. It's just a sound peace of mind to be able to handle those things when they come back.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. So,
absolutely.
Grateful for that.
All right, buddy. Well,
You got any questions for? I figured you're his friend. You're not going to call him out on anything, ask him any questions,
There's nothing to call me out on about.
he works a perfect program.
Perfectly until the next drink.
You didn't tell everybody about you pushing me down to peer mentor.
I didn't. When that came up,
abusive in there.
Now, here's what had happened. I just started doing the peer mentor supervisor job, and JT got up, and it's just me and him in the office. Of course, his chair's right next to mine, and he does something, and I just kind of nudge him, and he overreacts and falls and knocks the MT1 board off the wall, and I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to hit him hard.
I know, right?
He's very fragile.
He is.
There's no camera in there, so you couldn't see. He was abusive.
That was not abusive. Maybe a little.
No, we were just playing around.
we know how JT likes to over exaggerate.
Right. Yeah. We're just playing around.
It was. I think I just kind of nudged him. He tripped the chair, and the board went. Markers went everywhere, and I said, "I'm glad nobody's in here."
Yeah, right.
Richard probably was trying to go, "What the hell was that over there?"
But no, really, we used to go hang out all the time, go out to eat all the time when I was there at Center Point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we were talking earlier. It's just the bonds you make, man. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't talk as much as what we used to, but I know if I needed to talk to somebody, he'd call me, or I call him, he'd call me. You know, we've been fortunate enough that our significant others have become friends too,
That's
so
good.
it makes it even better. You know, so they get together and talk about us behind our backs. So you know,
It's probably good for them.
exactly.
It is, because I'm sure they have a rough time with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we all do.
But no, we go to cookouts together and stuff and everything. We have a pretty good time together.
And so let's see, married, getting married.
Dating.
Almost married.
Dating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you got a married friend, when your significant others start becoming friends, bub, you might as well just. I mean, that's the sign.
And what are you saying? Dying alone?
What I mean?
Yeah.
Slowly and happily.
There it is. I know you're going to say it, but it's not.
Yeah, that's right. As we've talked about on there, you've got Dillon to take care of you.
Hey, man, you know, it's
Dillon Rogers.
Yeah. Yep. He was on the Step Workers episode. That's sponsee. He's promised to take care of me when I get old. So.
Well, it's not far from getting old then, are you?
No, I mean, it
Put
could be
you in a
tomorrow.
wheelchair and push you down the hill. What I'd do probably.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't ask you, bub.
That's another resentment I have towards Sam is that, like, I always think he's calling me to chit chat.
It's always business.
It's not even that. I wish it was business. It'll be like, oh, look, Sam's calling, and get all excited. What's up, buddy? Oh, I meant to call the other Dillon. I'm sorry. That happens at least once or twice a month.
My Siri, I'll be like, call Dillon. And it'll be called Dillon Rogers.
So,
the thing is, it calls him when I'm trying to call you. So,
Right.
So it's, luckily, because of work, it's been here lately. It's been good. You've been, when I say it, it's you instead of him. I've been talking to you more than him. So.
He called me today about some business. My first thought was like, I'm just going to say Dillon Rogers isn't here as soon as I answer the phone because I know that's what he's calling for.
That's funny.
But no, I mean, it's good to watch. Like me and J2 knowing each other for a while because we were in Center Point the first time he went through and I went through. We were both there. But like you guys, like you two, I was your MT1 peer mentor, and it's just awesome to see everybody grow and do these things.
Yeah.
You get to, that light you were talking about. When not only like I'm far enough along now. I've not only seen the light, the continuation, and then the development of their relationships. It's like, man, that's where recovery at its finest, right there.
That's what's a good thing about being a peer mentor, especially maybe the peer mentor supervisors, that I get to be a permanent fixture. I always told everybody, if I can make a career out of this is what I'm going to do, and that's what God was able to give to me. But like Sam's got a point. After you've been there long enough, you don't get to just see lights, and then you see guys come back and sponsor people and things like that. And like, this is, you don't want to seem selfish and self-centered. And I don't want to say I had a hand in all this, but the fact that I'm helping somebody help somebody keeps me going to help the next person.
It's the good ripple effect.
Yeah,
we always put it in the bad, though. When
Yeah.
you talk about the ripple effect, and it's like when you first start talking about it, it's like the bad ripples.
Yeah.
It's like how your arms have touched everybody, and then once you've been doing this for a while, it's more like all the good gets to touch everybody, and it's like, man, this is awesome.
It's perfect.
Really is. Really is an awesome thing, man. And Dillon, I appreciate you coming on and talking about it. I love what you're doing over there. I love you like a brother, so I'm happy for you. Happy it's a success story, and that we all are succeeding. There's a lot of guys from our class that are in that area, that couple-year period, that have really succeeded and gone on to do great things, and it's a beautiful thing to see, man. So check us out on YouTube, or listen to our audio versions on Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music. And as always, stay grateful.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or in recovery and needs guidance, speak with Turning Point's team of peer support specialists by calling 270-444-3621. You are not alone, and we are proof that recovery is possible.